This episode of the Cork and Entertainment Show is brought to you by Black Box Prompter. Are you a musician tired of being tethered to your tablet or music stand? Do you long to connect with your audience on a deeper level, but find yourself constantly glancing down at your lyrics and chords? Then I highly recommend Black Box Prompter, the smart and stealthy lyrics and chords teleprompter designed to liberate musicians from the stage clutter. This innovative device is perfect for bands, hobbyists jamming out in the garage, touring pros rocking arenas, and even houses of worship looking to elevate their services. It discreetly displays your lyrics and chords, allowing you to maintain eye contact with your audience, adding an extra layer of authenticity and connection to your performance. Don't let distractions hold you back. Unleash your full potential and create a more powerful connection with your audience with Black Box Prompter. Click the link in our episode description and use the promo code Corcoran at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Black Box Prompter, the smart teleprompter built for musicians by musicians. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran. How's it going, everybody? Having a good week, good everything, all that stuff. Before we get started today, I just want to do a quick little plug for the final concert, the final performance for our collaboration with Concertine Collective, Music Mania library tour. Our last stop is in Edmundston this Saturday from 2 to 3 at the MGRWJ Conway Public Library. So this is Saturday, 2 to 3. Join us for a one-of-a-kind concert where a lively string quartet and a hilarious classical music conductor brings music to life with interactive activities and engaging storytelling. And that's, of course, me, the quirky conductor who doesn't know what he's doing. And that is true because I don't know what I'm doing. So definitely, guys, be sure to come on out. It's a great time. And hope you all come out and support talent. Anyone who's in the Edmundston area, of course. Obviously, if anybody in the surrounding areas want to come down, by all means, come on down. We'll take you. But anyways, we also have an encore. I want to promote this really, really quickly. I took part in CM Productions' Who's Underwear in February, and we're doing an encore. So excited that we're getting to do this again, because this is one of the funniest plays I've ever had the privilege of being in. So, of course, Who's Underwear. And yeah, I'm just so excited to do this again. It will be on May 23rd and 24th. So that's next Friday and Saturday night, May 23rd and 24th at the MVHS Theater. Tickets are $20, can be purchased at the door or by texting or calling 506-625-2398. Definitely, guys, be sure to come on out. We're so excited to be doing that again. And yeah, so there's a little plug for that. So moving on with the podcast today. Very excited about this one. This was a great interview. Dylan Garcia, he is a recording artist who started out as an acoustic reggae singer-songwriter, and he's also a very passionate advocate for mental health awareness. And great conversation. We talk a lot about sobriety, mental health, the industry, and it was just a great interview. It was a great chat, and he was a blast to talk with. So thank you again to Dylan for coming on, and be sure to follow him on Dylan Garcia Music on Instagram, and be sure to look up his music wherever you listen to your songs. Later in the show, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Golden Globes have just announced a new category that includes podcasts. And also, Avengers Doomsday is coming out less than a year from now. So what are we to expect? Let's discuss that. But anyways, guys, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by a multi-talented recording artist who first started off as an acoustic reggae artist, and he's done a lot of things in the music industry. Dylan Garcia. Dylan, how's it going?
Going all right. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Appreciate you coming on. Everything that I'm reading about you, it's insane how much you've done. I mean, like kind of just going through some of your credits. Um, does it ever strike you sometimes like how did I make it this far? Like it's always one of those things where you never think sometimes when you start in these careers, especially in the entertainment industry and working in the arts, it's very difficult to make a name for yourself. Do you ever stop and reflect on the journey that you've had? Like how would you describe the feeling?
I guess you could say it wasn't until you know somebody told me maybe about 3 or 4 months ago that I don't think you know how big you are. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? Like, no, there's a lot more people that know about you than you give yourself credit for. And I really try to like sit back and think of some of the stuff that I've done. I'll go through my phone and just like go through a certain month, from over the years, and it brings back memories. But I'm one of those types of people that, once when I climb one mountain, I'm already looking for the next one. Like I enjoy it in the moment. I enjoy performing these big shows I've done or recording in the studio. I enjoy those moments, but I try not to hang on to them a little too long because you could be excited for one thing that you accomplish and then be celebrating all month for it, and I've seen that happen with people. And I constantly like to challenge myself because, I mean, with myself, being diagnosed bipolar, um, having structure and having routine and challenging myself is really good for my overall mental health. I don't think you need to be bipolar for that to be good for your mental health. Um, but just keep challenging myself. Like right now, I haven't drank alcohol, I believe, in 65 days. And
Wow.
it wasn't, there was some ultimatum. It wasn't like it was causing a problem in my life. I still work, I pay my bills, I just like to have my drink. But then, I realized at one moment, I'm like, if I don't make a change, it's going to be the same. Like, yeah, I'm accomplishing a lot, but these really big accomplishments that I really want to go for, it's going to take 100% of me. And it was really a decision that I had to make. Well, I have people commenting, "Oh, your work that you have such a good work ethic," and it's like, yeah, but if only these people knew. Like, I'm really like the probably just a lazy, productive person. Like, I really like being lazy too. Uh, but it having having challenges against ourselves really decides whether you'll give in the moment it's tough or you're going to keep going even though it's tough because you see the bigger picture or how things will look in the future. And I made a decision, like I had a visualization of how I want to feel, how I want to how I want to look externally with my fitness and how I want to be as an artist. And it's really going to take that commitment where it's going to take 110% of my focus and not so much wasting time just sitting around drinking beers.
And it's good that you caught that. It's really, really good that you took the time to really think about like this isn't a good path that I'm going down. Like by the way, congratulations on your sobriety. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
And it's great to see how big of an advocate you are for mental health. How important is it, especially working in the industry? Well, any industry, I guess, mental health is a big thing. But when you're working in the arts, I always say it's always difficult in the sense that when you're working doing what you love, that some people struggle to balance that because it's okay, now it's like this is my hobby and this is what I love to do and this is what I do to cope with, if I'm feeling down or anxious or whatever the case may be. Whereas now all of a sudden it's a career and this is my job. And, not everybody likes their job. Not everybody likes, the stress that comes with it. But when all of a sudden you combine those two, do you think that's a good idea for some people? Like, do you think it's better for them to go in knowing full on what they're getting themselves into in that regard?
Well, when I first started dabbling in music, I mean, I just bought myself an acoustic guitar when I got dumped and when I stopped pledging the fraternity because I realized I was always kind of a loner and I wanted to write sad songs about why this girl Amanda Gerber dumped me and and how sad I was about it. And it wasn't like when I bought that guitar, like I'm buying this guitar because I'm going to be famous and I'm going to be. It was not that mentality at all. It was like I really fell in love with music at a young age, and then being able to finally teach myself how to play an instrument, I fell in love with music so much more. And I never, it was just a way that I could express myself, and I never really saw it that like, oh, this is, it wasn't until I picked up that guitar in the year 2000, and then it wasn't until 2009 when I was really thinking like, man, this is maybe something I want to do full time. So it took a lot. I mean, I already had almost a decade of experience before I even decided like, am I good enough? Will people resonate with my music? Um, I'm a more of an introvert now as I gotten older than an extrovert. And it's like, am I going to even be, how am I going to feel being on stage with a lot of people? Um, so once when, I mean, things kind of just fell into place with a certain person discovering my music on MySpace and reaches out and says, hey, man, I really like the song you got. I could probably book you for some shows. And it's like, oh, wow, this isn't in my hometown, like playing at the local bar. This is like getting booked on shows. And I remember standing on that stage. It was in Huntington Beach, and hearing that all my friends came from San Diego, like people came from all the way from Oxnard to north of LA, all the way from down to San Diego to come see me perform. And when I performed this one song, the band really locked in. Now, my band and I, we didn't rehearse. We didn't. We were. They were just great musicians. They knew how to follow me, and we could play together. So we were more like a jam band, improvising on right on the spot. But I just remember I had this feeling of like really locking in with my guy playing bass and my guy playing cajon, and that feeling like really was like getting barreled when you're surfing waves. Like it was one of those feelings, and it's like, whoa, like there's other outlets besides boogie boarding and surfing that I could still achieve that that rush, that feeling of being in the moment. And that's when I made the decision that, okay, I think this is something I could actually do. And it went from there. And then once when you realize that this is a business and not just a hobby, I've had a lot of tough breaks with certain people that I thought were there to help me. And I end up finding out later after, spending money and I had nobody really guiding me in the music business. It was just learn as I go method. And I'm kind of glad that it went that way because I created my own label. I picked up engineering, like how to engineer my own songs and do all the mixing and recording at home. Uh, and being a sponge and trying to learn and learning from the mistakes and past failures, I think putting all that together was really got me to where I am now. Because a lot of time from 2009 to 2018, I was just trying to get my mental health back in order. So, I mean, this this career and this decision that what I choose to pursue, you know, going to the depths of the deepest hell of my bipolar while signing a record deal and a lot of, playing shows, a lot of stuff, this career has taught me has taken me from hell and back. And sometimes I ask, why did some of this stuff happen to me mentally? Why did I, excuse my language, but lose it and lose my ish. And I just feel like God just told me he wanted me to have a better story to tell. And now after more than a decade, um, and I'm still making music and I still have that same love that I did just being that guy in my dorm room writing songs about being heartbroken. That makes sense.
No, well, that's great, man. That's real great, and it's good that you kind of took the time to get your mental health in order. Like one of the big pieces of advice for people who were going to pursue acting, and I guess this can also apply to the music industry as well too, which is get your personal life in order. Like
Yeah.
you know, get your personal life in order. It's almost like when you're about to have kids and they're like, okay, well, if you're gonna have kids, you got to do this. Cross all those things off your bucket list. Do you want to travel? Go travel now, because once you have kids, it's difficult to. So it's that kind of a similar situation, and the fact that you did that, I applaud you for that tremendously.
Thank you.
I suffer from anxiety and all that stuff, and
So you get it. You get
I
it.
get it
You get
100%,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not easy to um first off admit that you have a problem in a way. Like it's that's always the first step to anything, is that admitting that was my problem. I never wanted to admit that I was anxious. I was like, that's gonna show some cracks in my armor, so to speak. I don't want people to see me that way. And then eventually it was just like, that's just who we are. Like, it's not everybody. That's the part with mental health that is really important, is that people don't see it. If you're walking around and you got a broken arm, people see that because you got a cast around. Like you're walking around with a cast, and,
Yeah.
and people are gonna know. But mentally, they're not gonna see it. So you got that all in order, and it's super great to hear that. How would you say? I mean, like being a recording artist and all this stuff like that, and getting your mental health in order before really putting the pedal to the metal. What is the biggest takeaway, I guess you could say, from that whole journey? I mean, like whether it's get your personal life in order, but was there something in particular that really, really stood out to you throughout this whole journey?
Well, it's gonna be like two things: learning how to live again, because like when you go off the deep end with your mental health and you're hospitalized, and then different medications, the medication's not working. Um, I it's like I had this whole thing I wanted to say because it's so similar. Can you ask me that question one more time? Because I want to put this all together really good.
Perfect. Oh yeah, no, that's okay. So take two. Um, so being in this
I got
industry,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
I got my answer now. I can go. Okay, so with my mental health, I tell myself I had to learn to live again. But also, what a big part of it, the shame and embarrassment, feeling like, especially like, what's wrong with me? Like, why did this happen to me? Um, Learning to love myself again, because we're already hard enough on ourselves as it is. Um, but to me, it was really to accept myself and love myself again. I did feel like, how you say, like you walk around, someone's got a broken arm, you see they're in a sling, but when you have something going on mentally, people don't see that, and I had like, you know, the fear of like being judged for something that I had no control over, and people in my family not understanding it, or especially like in 2009, like I had been dealing with this stuff all my 20s. So when 2009 hit, and when it was just I had so much going on in my life, and the bipolar was uncontrollable. I mean, they misdiagnosed me as schizophrenic to begin with, and it was just like hurdle after hurdle, and had to learn how to live again, but at the same time, I had to learn to love myself again and not feel like I got a big stamp on my forehead that says I'm bipolar or I'm schizophrenic or I'm mentally ill, and I went to a support group for a little bit that was ran kind of like an AA group, same kind of theory, but it was just people that were all battling from different disabilities. And I think when you see other people that are struggling or just trying to get by like you, when you realize that you're not the only one going through it, because a lot of times I felt like I was alone and I was the only one that was going through something like this. And when I finally, and then seeing that movie as well, A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, like, whoa, like there could actually be some genius to the madness. Um, you know, that was the biggest thing. I mean, was just learning to love myself again, learning to accept it, and learning to live again. And I self-made and medicated a lot. I mean, it really wasn't until it was put into perspective that I was self-medicating with the alcohol until I heard it somewhere where it's like, oh man, am I self-medicating because I still get anxious, or am I self-medicating because I feel a little down, or am I self-medicating? Oh, I feel good today. Oh, the weather's hot. I should have a beer. It was like, you know, I just realized that I don't need to self medicate anymore, and I don't need to feel sorry for myself. Like I went through what I went through, it made me stronger. And giving up alcohol and giving up any vices that are a distraction of where I really want to go, with my not only my life but with my career going forward. I just knew I had to give it all myself, and
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 that's
life is
good.
pretty
Yeah.
good, man. And life is pretty good. I can say that life is pretty good. But
That's fantastic,
for me,
man. That's really good. And the sobriety has helped you tremendously as well too. What was the most difficult part about the sobriety? I mean, you're what you said 65 days sober now?
65 days, yeah. The hardest part was just getting through the first week and breaking that habit. Like, oh, I didn't drink for 3 days. I should, have some drinks tonight, or just breaking that weekly habit, and changing into it. Like I read, it takes anywhere from 22 days to 80 days or 70 days to create a habit. They say 66 days to create something as a habit. Um, I just wanted to have better habits. I've lost like 15 pounds since I stopped drinking these last 65 days. I've been working out, 5, 6 times a week. Because I have this vision it was like I got this vision of who I could be if I really stopped, you know, doing things that would hamper my abilities, going forward. And like I said, I wasn't like I was out of control all, bender 7 days a week. It wasn't like that. It was just I knew that it was something else that could be holding me back from seeing my true potential.
Yeah, see that's the one thing about sobriety that always gets misinterpreted. Like when I said that I was sober, which I'm going on 5 years in July. It's
Wow.
not like it was I was getting drunk every night, stuff like that. Like I always make sure that I'm very careful with how I say that because I would say it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going on. I haven't drank in this long, and I'm like, I make it seem like I was an alcoholic. It was like one of those things where just you go to parties and you drink. That's just what people do. And so that's what I did. But when you're medicating and you're doing all that stuff and you're trying to treat your mental health and your anxiety, there's just certain things that you kind of got to push away. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's definitely it's not something when you say you're sober, it's not like you were abusing it. It was just one thing that was just in the way that I had to give up just to better myself overall. And that's probably the biggest thing that people will mistake it for. Just think, oh, yeah, like, oh, Dylan, you were on a bender every night, like, like, but you said it was nothing like that, you know?
And I mean, I had a high tolerance, sure, we all get high tolerance after a while. But you said something when you were saying it. I kind of got the chills when you were saying it because, you know, everyone in my family drinks on both sides. My mom's side, my grandma doesn't drink. My dad's mom, my grandfather. It was just like Garcias are all drinkers, and now, I lost my brother in 2023, and it was like now I'm at the forefront leading my family and my son and my brother's kids and the future generations of Garcias to come. And I mean, at one point I have to accept it that my dad's not going to be with me, in the years later years, hopefully doesn't. but I'm just saying, like, I have to start transitioning myself now that I'm 43 into a way that can lead the family once my dad's no longer here, and lead the kids and lead them knowing that they don't need to drink either just because they're Garcias, and maybe create a whole chain of future generations that realize they don't need to drink either, because it was when it has somebody told me when has drinking ever caused them what good has ever come out of drinking, and um, I want to teach that to the future generations after me, so then they could hopefully take the same route and learn like their dad or their uncle did, so they can be their best selves and not know and them know they don't need to self medicate, or they don't, just plant that seed young, you know.
No, exactly. And whether they take it immediately, that's everyone's different in that regard. Someone would say that, like, they'll always say in school, when you're growing up, oh, you can't be swearing, don't be swearing, and then you grow
Yeah,
up and everybody swears now. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know, right? Yeah,
so people will accept certain things. Like, I know some people who are just like, I call bullshit on them when they say I don't swear. I never swore in my life. I'm thinking like, yeah, bullshit. Um, not even once by accident. Like, come on, like you're full of
yeah,
shit. But yeah, like there's certain things that you try to instill in people when they're younger, and now whether they take it or remember it, it's that depends on the person, I guess. But if you're really just depends, I guess, on what your situation is. And as I said, everyone's different. But yeah, so it's just great to talk with people about this stuff, because it's not touched on
yeah. It is.
nearly enough as it should be, really. And seeing, do you ever have people who say, I mean, seeing all that you've done, which, as I mentioned, is just fantastic. Do you ever have people who always just say, like, you never struck me as being this person, like anxious and going through mental health, and then how do you kind of respond to that?
I like to feel that like I'm spot on, better than I ever been in my life, at this point. But I hit it well, man. Like I hit it well. Like when I would have these things going on, like and through that started in my early 20s, like I was able to like talk myself. It was so crazy, like how, and I just always just figured everyone's mind worked that way. And I think kind of like when the word got out that I wasn't like I had took a hit with my mental health. Like there's some people kind of said, well, we always knew he was crazy, you know, and it's like that's the response I get when it's like, man, I really went something that was just really eye opening and really scared the crap out of me. And I just, I don't wish that stuff on any of my enemies because I know what I went through and I know how hard it could be for other people to go through. And just trying to be more compassionate. And the world needs a lot more compassion these days. But yeah, that always, I felt like when I tried it, and I knew it was going to happen when I finally, made it public that I was struggling with mental health stuff for years. Uh, you know, uh, it didn't. I mean, it came with a little judgment, but this was at a time before mental health was even at the forefront that it is now. I mean, mental health, like I said, like I had to go to a small little AA meeting at this one place just to go have a support group. That was back in 2010, so things are a lot different. Um, but yeah, I just wish the world had a lot more compassion because a lot of people, I mean, there's just chemical imbalances in people's brains. And, some people, we've all growing up, especially we always had that crazy uncle, or we always had so and so. But now that mental health is up in the front, it's being addressed medically and it's more resources and help available. Um, you know, it's
Well, the
just
pandemic
up to,
helped with that, really. I
yeah,
think I think the with everything being shut down, that kind of forced people to step forward and be more open, because it really it was, it's something we talk about all the time. It was terrible. It was just like, even we're still feeling the ripple effects of it. But it's great though that we still have people who were able to take the good out of the bad and say, this is what I'm going through, and it's a shame that it had to come out under these circumstances. Literally, the world had to shut down for me to admit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's where a majority of people were starting to. I mean, like, how did that affect you mentally? The whole pandemic. I mean, it hit everyone in so many different ways.
Well, I mean, it really it really brought me at a crossroads with my marriage. Like, because we were home. I mean, she would work, and I would, I had my thing that I'm doing, so we weren't always, together like that 24/7. And it really taught me how to have a lot of patience. And with the way everything just shut down, I mean, it wasn't like there were too many options. Like my wife and I, we'd go on drives, we'd go check out places, but you got to have your mask on. All of which I get it. We were going through a pandemic, but I don't think it really affected me too much. I believe it affected my son who was going to school doing the homeschooling because he was with me sometimes and he was doing his homeschooling. I think it kind of affected him, not having any interaction with other kids his age and stuff like that. He was going through elementary school when that was going on. Um, but I mean, my wife and I lived it up, man, during COVID. We were coming out to where I live now, to Coachella Valley, to Palm Desert, to come hang out, and we were trying to make the best of it. I mean, once when I think my wife and I got over about the first month or two that okay, the situation's not changing. It looks like this is how it's going to be. Well, we're going to be home until they say we can go back to work or whatever. We might as well enjoy it, and we tried to make the best. We went to Big Bear. We rented a cabin in Big Bear, and I was recording songs there. Like it's just, yeah. I think it was a good and a bad. I just tried to make the best of it. Um, that's all we could do. I didn't
and
really
and recording
get
from
too
home,
caught
that's a
up.
big thing too. Like, you're able to do
Yeah.
so much stuff from home now too that COVID never had before. I mean, like, do you prefer doing music and stuff from home? Would you rather do it at a studio? How do you kind of prefer that?
Um, Man, if we can get into a studio, that'd be great. But just the way the big is how much it costs to rent a studio, it's just so much better to just invest the money with getting your own setup. Now, I know other people who wouldn't want to invest the money to get their own setup because they don't want to learn how to do it, and they'll spend the money for the studios. But I think, I mean, even when I worked with DJ Tony G, I mean, we were there in the studio session, and he was explaining like you got to know how to do this stuff. You got to be able to. I mean, you're an artist. You got to be able to record whenever you want. You got to, especially when inspiration hits or you get an idea and you're in your own studio. You don't have to call the studio to open up. Like it's just so much more convenient.
You are the
And
studio.
yeah, and you know what, man? Like spending so much time like just working on my own vocals, like I like the way I know the way I want to sound on my records, and no, I don't have nobody else controlling that for me. I have a way that I like the songs to sound really crispy, and I get the compliment like, man, your music comes out so clean. But I learned like if you got to get a good performance and a good recording because you can't mix a bad one and you can't fix a good one. You can't fix a bad one, go back. You could try to fix it, but it's better if you can just get a really good recording and a really good performance and make sure that the sound is good and not, I mean, they made hit records with just two channels back when recording studios first opened, man. So it's like you shouldn't need that much technology to be able to get a basic good recording and a good take.
No,
And I come
exactly.
from an era like when in 2009, like Napster had just crushed the music industry, and there was, I mean, iTunes and Amazon were the only place you could go purchase music. This is even before streaming came out. And at that time, auto tune was only like a T-Pain kind of thing, and I was doing like reggae music on acoustic guitar. So it's like, I mean, that first studio session when I worked with Rodney, I mean, he was telling me like we're not gonna give like we're not gonna do no shortcuts. Like we want you to be able to play the song through and to be able to record it all in one take. Because if you can't do that, how are you gonna perform it live? And that's the advice I got when I first started working in a big studio, like with people that obviously knew what they were doing, had high credibility, like Ronnie, multi, diamond certified record plaques and Grammy nominations. And when you work with those type of people on that level, I mean, you got to be on your A game, but at the same time, I mean, they don't want to see you that, oh, this guy has to take shortcuts just to get the song done. You want to prove yourself as an artist, and it's not like that so much now with today's current. A lot of the music that's out now, because a lot of it's using pitch correction and out of tune and stuff. But to me, I'm still more of a purist, and I haven't changed my way of recording or my style at all. And I mean, I get compliments on my mixes, so um, you know, I, if somebody says you should learn it, you should probably learn it. Just don't pass up on the opportunity, especially when you can have creative control all yourself.
The Corkin Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corkin Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corkin Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. Yeah, that's the best. Creative control, and it's always good to have those skills. Having those skills to you'll be able to use them whenever. You know what I mean? Like that's in anything you do, picking up as many skills as possible. Where if, let's say, you're about to do a show and the soundboard shits the bed, you work with soundboards and stuff like that. Maybe you can fix it, and you do fix it. Like you're able to develop all these different skills and stuff, which might not seem important in the moment, but they will come to fruition later on. And
you hit. I just want to mention one thing, Ro. You hit right on the dot because I transferred that. I mean, I bought a P. I have my own PA system that I could bring and set up a show myself. Like bring my own equipment, set up a show myself, and learning this stuff, working in the studio and mixing, taught me how to manage that control board. Where it's like, if somebody needs live sound, I can get a live sound gig and make a decent amount of money just running a couple microphones. You know. So
exactly.
it transitions over, man. So you're 100% correct.
And that's good because it's like multiple streams of income. Where in the arts and in the entertainment industry, it's hard when you're going from job to job and, oh crap, this gig, I didn't get this gig, so I'm out of a job for a bit. But hey, this event that's going on here, they need someone to do the sound. Okay, I know how to do that. We need someone to fix the lighting. No one's around to do the lighting or work that. I've worked with that before. Let's go do that. So that
Right?
comes in handy for so many different things, especially if you want to work just in the entertainment industry. That's a perfect path to pursue. So Dylan, it's always nice when I chat with somebody who is an advocate for mental health, just because it's an issue that yes, it's touched on, but isn't as taken as seriously sometimes as say physical health, because mental health, we don't see it. So that's why for me, I mean, maybe I might have worded that wrong, but where not that it's not taken seriously, but it's something. It's always nice to hear people that do take it seriously, people who have been through it or are currently going through it, and are looking to just make the best out of a bad situation and better themselves. So, I applaud you for what you've done, and for all the work that you've done too. Like, just absolutely spectacular. Is there anything in particular that you would like to plug, or where people can find you and stuff like that?
Yeah, you guys can go to my website, DylanGarciamusic.com. That's Dylan, like Bob Dylan, DylanGarciamusic.com. My social handles are Dylan Garcia Music as well. I just put out a music video 3 weeks ago. It just hit over 100,000 views yesterday.
Oh
So
wow.
it's a record that I put out called Vulnerable. We shot the music video. The music video came out really beautiful, and the marketing's doing really well on that video, so it's getting a lot of eyes on it. It's just getting a lot of good feedback, so I'm really grateful about that. And May 23rd, Memorial Day weekend, that Friday, I'll be dropping my next single, which is titled Chemistry, and it's more upbeat, jazzy, something you could dance to, something you could feel romantic to, dance with your girl while you're listening to it, light up some candles, or dancing with your friends and you're at the club. But it's a really smooth, jazzy, funky, um, funky song that you really groove to, and the lyrics are really romantic. And this is all going to lead up to eventually me releasing my album called "Gotta Feel It in Your Spirit," and that will be out. My album, 15 tracks. It will be out, I believe, August 23rd. I believe that's or Labor Day weekend, August going into September. I just don't know the exact date off the top hand, but that Friday of Labor Day weekend, my album will be out. And then we'll see how the album does, see how the music does overseas, because I have a big international fan base, like out in Spain, Italy, Argentina, the UK. My new song did really good in the UK. So, um, it's always good that music is the universal language of the world, because somewhere in the world, they're going to love your music.
Absolutely. There's something in it for everyone too. And everyone has their own interests and their own niche.
Yeah.
So no matter what, there'll be lots of people out there who can relate and love it, and all that good stuff. Dylan, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. Really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
as I said, just congratulations on everything that you've done, man.
Thanks, Frankie. And great conversation too, because I'm glad that we touched on some of this stuff in detail, because I think people hearing it on the other end or just listening to it, it provides hope, and know that there's other people that got help and got better, and know that there's a way out and there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you don't need to suffer in silence.
No, exactly. That's really the main thing. You're never
So thank
alone
you.
in that. No, exactly. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So guys, we are going to take a short break. We will be right back, but until then, this is Frankie and Dylan Garcia signing off. Cheers, Dylan. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran. That was me and Dylan Garcia. Thank you, Dylan, for coming on. And guys, be sure to check out Dylan on Instagram. Follow him on Dylan Garcia Music, and be sure to support him in all of his endeavors. Very great conversation. That was a terrific conversation, and thank you, Dylan, for coming on today. So, moving on with the show today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Golden Globes. Now, the Golden Globes are, let's just say I wouldn't say they're the best award show. To me, the big problem that I've always had with the Golden Globes is the fact that it almost seems so desperate at some points. Like, they literally added a category. I covered this on the podcast, I think, when news of this broke. But they literally added a category in the Golden Globes for, it was like best cinematic achievement. So it was basically which movie did the best at the box office. The movie could have been absolute shit, and it could have got nominated just because of the financial success or whatever. To me, I was like, that just doesn't really fit with what these award shows are. They award the movies for their quality and everything, and rewarding a movie for making a lot of money is just kind of like, okay, I guess. I mean, that's just not what I would do. So I've questioned those decisions and stuff like that, and those award, and like what does money and what does box office success have to do with the actual quality and whether the movie is actually good or not? Like just because a movie makes $1 billion doesn't automatically mean it's an amazing movie, you know. But they just recently announced that they are adding a new category, and I'm reading this from CNN. The Golden Globes will add a new category recognizing podcasts starting next year. Interesting, really interesting. So I mean, obviously there are already podcast award shows. There's the Webbies, and like the Webbies are big. There's is it the Streamies? I can't think off the top of my head if it's Streamies or what it is, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head. But so yeah, like there are podcast award shows that will honor podcasts and everything. So but this is what the article from CNN reads. The Golden Globes are adding a new category to recognize something other than achievements, film and television. On Wednesday, the Globes announced that a Best Podcast of the Year category will be added to its award slate to debut starting next year, when the ceremony will be broadcast on January 11th, 2026, according to a news release. The category will honor the extraordinary and diverse talents in podcasting. The release read, while acknowledging that the annual awards ceremony is committed to giving a platform to the full spectrum of entertainment while reflecting today's audiences and consumption behavior around the world. As the world of entertainment continues to evolve, we are excited to recognize new forms of storytelling, the Golden Globes president Helen Howen, I think I say it, said in a statement on Wednesday. She added that by celebrating achievements in both audio and visual podcasts, we aim to honor our heritage categories while making room for new voices and formats to be heard. According to the press release, only the top 25 podcasts will qualify for the award, and the category will include a total of 6 nominees. So that's interesting. That is interesting. And now, so like as I said, like I think the Golden Globes are weird in some categories. At first, I kind of had a issue with this. But the more I think about it, it actually kind of makes a little bit of sense, and I'll clarify what I mean by that. I think that if they're talking about film and television and storytelling and stuff like that. I don't think like an unscripted podcast like this podcast right here. I'm not reading off a script. I'm just reading off the top of my head. Not the article. I'm reading like all my thoughts and ramblings and the interviews and stuff like that. That's all coming off the top of my head. There's no script. I have no script for that. Yep, I'm kind of peeling back behind the curtain here. And so that's not at all what I do. And so there are lots of podcasts where it's if you're talking Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn or they mentioned Nikki Glaser. I think she has a podcast. Bert Kreischer, Bill Burr, all the greats. And I think that they should reward them for scripted. I don't think a talk show like with like what we're like what I do kind of thing. I don't think that should qualify for whether the quality is good or whatever. But a lot of the movies and TV shows that get nominated for the Golden Globes, that's always something that they nominate based on, good storytelling and everything. I just don't think that I'm not really sure exactly where I'm going with it, but I just think that if you're gonna include or nominate a podcast in this category, I just think that it should be ones that aren't scripted, or sorry, that are scripted. Podcasts that are scripted, like there's lots of like radio type movies and TV shows and stuff like that that can always be described as like as entertainment for your ears. And there's lots of great ones out there, and I think nominate those absolutely. But I think if you're nominating like the Joe Rogan Experience or this past weekend with Theo Vaughn, where it's just people talking and like they're great quality, do not get me wrong, they are absolutely great quality, but I just don't know if it's worth the nomination. So I think this category could absolutely work if it's handled right. You know what I mean? So at first I was just like, oh, come on, really? That's just stupid. And then, but when you really start to think that the Golden Globes are in a sense an all-inclusive entertainment award show. They don't honor music or anything like that. Like the Junos. But it basically combines the Emmys and the Oscars and just slaps them together. And to put on a award show that may not be as important, or it's there's no maybe. It absolutely is not as important or big as the Oscars or the Emmys, but it's still a pretty big award. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Definitely, guys, be sure to leave me your thoughts. Do you think that the Oscar or the Golden Globes adding this best podcast category, is it worth it? Is it just kind of weird? Is it kind of desperate that they're just looking to hand out awards for literally like anything? Definitely be sure to let me know what you think. I'm really, really curious to see what people think on that. My opinion, I think if handled right, I don't think a podcast like the Joe Rogan Experience would work as that, where it's not like it'd be like if you were to nominate a TV show, like let's say you were going to nominate either Breaking Bad or the Kelly Clarkson Show or something like that. You know what I mean? Like just a random talk show or Conan O'Brien. You kind of want to go with Breaking Bad, because I mean, like that's more of a scripted drama storytelling and stuff like that. Over the Kelly Clarkson Show or Conan, whatever. I'm not even sure why I said Kelly Clarkson, but any of those other talk shows, Conan or whatever. So yeah, if handled right, I absolutely think that it could work. But definitely, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. And so with that down and out of the way, I want to talk a little bit about Avengers Doomsday. We're coming up quick. We are, at the time of this recording, we are less than a year away from Avengers Doomsday, which is just absolutely, I can't even believe I'm saying those words. Doomsday's coming, guys. Doomsday is coming. And not the bad Doomsday, it's the good Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday is currently filming right now. We're less than a year away from it. And I kind of wanted to just give, I don't really have anything exactly in particular about this that I wanted to talk about. I kind of wanted to just talk, because we are, it's filming now. We have a little bit more information with regards to, casting and leaks and stuff like that. There's a lot of rumors going around. Maybe that one of the writers of the film, or not of the film, but someone who's connected to one of the writers, whether he was a writer, I don't want to quote it exactly because I'm not entirely sure, but may have slipped some stuff, which sound very, very interesting, but it's one of those take it with a grain of salt type things. If you guys know what I'm talking about, but just feel free to look it up if you don't know. Avengers Doomsday spoilers, I won't talk about on here. But I kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about, because I still remember the day when they announced that Robert Downey Jr. was coming back to play not Tony Stark, not Iron Man. He's coming back to play a different character, and that is, of course, Victor Von Doom, the Doom in Doomsday, Doctor Doom. Robert Downey Jr., which I was proven wrong. I did not think he was ever going to come back to Marvel. I was pretty. I was like, okay, maybe he could, but I just said I just don't think so. I think he's kind of left behind. He's winning Oscars now. Of course, he well deserved. He won the Oscar for Oppenheimer a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago now. Jeez, it's crazy to think that. But so yeah, it's crazy to think though that we are coming up on Doomsday, and just a couple things that I wanted to talk about with regards to expectations. What can we expect from the movie and stuff like that? The first thing that I think it's important to keep in mind is that not to temper your expectations, but don't go into it expecting it's going to top Infinity War. Don't go in expecting it's going to top Doomsday. I'm seeing lots of people who say this is going to be the biggest movie of all time and blah, 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 blah. I think this is going to be a bona fide success. It's going to do absolutely spectacular at the box office. Now, whether it will catch Endgame, whether it'll surpass Endgame, whether it'll top Infinity War, like whatever, that's a big question. I think it's at least gonna top Infinity War, maybe Endgame, but that's a high friggin' bar, man. That's a really high bar. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I think, not even in terms of like box office or anything, more so about quality. Don't go in expecting that this is going to be the best Marvel movie that was ever made or this and that, because this really stems from, what I'm seeing online of just, well, if Endgame was great, they can only go up from there. I'm not anticipating it to be as good as Endgame. I just think that Endgame just had so much amazing build up. I mean, Doomsday has had some amazing build up too. But I'll say this on record though. I will say this right now. If Doomsday is good, if Doomsday is like fantastic, blow it out of the water, this and that, Secret Wars will become the biggest movie of all time. I'm going to say that right now. I think Secret Wars will surpass Avatar. It's going to just blow everything out of the water. I think Secret Wars, if Doomsday and Secret Wars are good, because the reason why, let's be honest, the reason why Endgame became the biggest movie of all time was because of the end of Infinity War, when literally all the Avengers, or like half of the Avengers, died, got snapped away, dusted, and then Endgame was, how do they rectify that? So that was one of the big reasons why, and plus it had all this build up and everything too, and saying that it was going to be the swan song for a lot of the OG Avengers for now. Which brings me to the next one is, as long as they handle... Now, here's the thing. We're getting mixed reports now on the whole Chris Evans situation. Is he coming back as Captain America? Is he coming back at all? Is he coming back as a variant of somebody? Is he coming back as Johnny Storm? Who knows? As long as they handle it well, then okay. Because I straight up said, I know people think it's crazy for me to think, because Captain America is, favorite character in the Avengers, Marvel, and all that stuff. So for me, it would almost seem like a given. Like, yes, Chris Evans is coming back as Cap for these movies. Hell yeah. But I was always more on the side of, no, you shouldn't, because of the beautiful ending that we got in Endgame. So, but there's rumors that Chris Evans is coming back. They haven't said how he's coming back. They haven't said if he's coming back as Captain America, whatever. I just think it'd be best if they just left his ending the ending that it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they should retcon it, or not retcon it, but I just think give it... Don't just go for the money grab. Don't go for the money grab. Just you had a great story with Endgame. Just don't fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. That's my biggest fear of them bringing Robert Downey Jr., bringing back Robert Downey Jr., bringing back Chris Evans, is that it's almost going to seem like it's just desperate to pull, blah, blah, blah. But I say, if they handle it right, I think this could work. Because right now, I don't really like it, which is crazy, because to me, people might think, me being the big fan of Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. and the big fan of Chris Evans and Captain America, as big fans of as I am of them, story-wise, I just think it just feels very desperate. Now, you could say I'm kind of a hypocrite because I think it's a great idea if Tobey Maguire comes back, but we didn't get that ending with Toby and Andrew. Like, we didn't really get that ending. And so they did get their ending. Tony and Steve got those endings that they needed. And I just don't want it to just be a money grab and to just go, oh yeah, we want this movie to be successful. Kang Dynasty, our reputation kind of took a hit. Let's just bring back Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and that's my biggest fear. So as long as they handle it right, I think it'll be fine. But from everything I'm seeing, I just think Doomsday is going to be. It's going to pay off. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. That's going to be a big month. We had GTA 6 and we got Doomsday. And it's going to be a great month. May 2026 cannot get here fast enough. Super excited to see where it goes. But that's kind of my thoughts there. I don't really have any real set ideas that I wanted, or like a script, so to speak, for this segment. I kind of wanted to just give my thoughts and just kind of talk off the top of my head about my expectations now that we're less than a year away from seeing Doomsday. I think it's going to be great. Super excited, and let's just hope it can deliver. So anyways, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts. If you, what are your biggest fears with Doomsday? What could work? What could not work? Definitely be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. And we're going to call it for the show today, guys. I want to thank my guest, Dylan Garcia. Thank you again, Dylan. And also just another quick little plug for the final Music Mania show, which is going to be at the MGRW J. Conway Public Library in Edmundston on Saturday, May 17th from 2 to 3. If you're in the area, we'd love to see you for a great cap off this amazing show of ours. Very, very excited. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. As always, be sure, if you like it, leave us a nice review, follow us on social media, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time, guys. But until then, this is Franky signing off. Cheers, guys.